Bitcoin Millionaire, Cryptocurrency Investing Strategies from the Rich. Written by Giles Reeves, narrated by Jim Rising. Introduction. Who are the top 5 Bitcoin millionaires? Bitcoin is a digital asset and payment system with a market capitalization of approximately $251 billion as of 1325 UTC on January 8th, according to CoinDesk.com 2018. It is considered by many to be the most successful and game-changing cryptocurrency ever created. The following are among the leading investors in Bitcoin compiled from recent media. Barry Silbert. Barry Silbert is the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Digital Currency Group. The company's mission is to accelerate the development of the global financial system, and it accomplishes this mission by building and supporting Bitcoin and blockchain companies. The firm has invested in more than 75 Bitcoin-related companies and is the world's leading firm for investing in Bitcoin-related companies. In a recent transaction, Digital Currency Group acquired CoinDesk, a leading source of Bitcoin news, which runs the annual Bitcoin Industry Conference. Silbert's company also owns Genesis, a trading firm focused on digital currencies, and Grayscale, a company focused on digital currency investing. Silbert also started the Bitcoin Investment Trust, OTC-GBTC, an exchange-traded fund, ETF, that tracks the price of Bitcoin. Blythe Masters is a former managing director at J.P. Morgan Chase & Company, New York Stock Exchange JPM. Currently, she is the CEO of Digital Asset Holdings. The company builds encryption-based processing tools that improve the efficiency, security, compliance, and settlement speed of securities trading, specifically Bitcoin. Digital Asset Holdings seeks to apply the blockchain technology to the typical activities of Wall Street. The company has raised $60 million in funding, and interestingly, its first client is J.P. Morgan Chase, which is testing blockchain technology to settle transactions more quickly. Many people think Masters gave Bitcoin a lot of legitimacy with Digital Asset Holdings, considering her past reputation on Wall Street. Her company now has 6 offices on 3 continents. Dan Morehead. Dan Morehead is founder of Pantera Capital, the world's first investment focused exclusively on cryptocurrencies. In 2013, Pantera launched its first crypto fund and is currently one of the largest institutional owners of cryptocurrencies. The fund has delivered more than 24,000% return for its investors since its debut. At last count, it had invested in 43 cryptocurrency-related companies. These range from exchanges and investment firms such as Polychain Capital and Bitstamp to coins such as Augur. A former Goldman Sachs trader, Morehead was also head of macro trading and CFO at Tiger Management. Morehead is on the board of Bitstamp, a cryptocurrency trading exchange that is used by CME as an input for spot prices. Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss. Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss parlayed the millions they earned after settling their Facebook lawsuit into cryptocurrencies and became the first billionaires from a recent surge in Bitcoin prices. They claim to own approximately 1% of all Bitcoin in circulation and have devised an elaborate system to store their private key for their assets. The Winklevoss twins are focused on building an ecosystem to attract institutional investors and day traders to the cryptocurrency. To that end, they launched Gemini, the world's first regulated exchange for cryptocurrencies. The exchange is used to set Bitcoin spot prices for futures contract at the Chicago Board Options Exchange, or CBOE. The Winklevoss brothers have also applied to set up a Bitcoin ETF to make the cryptocurrency accessible to retail investors. Michael Novogratz. Billionaire Michael Novogratz has invested approximately 30% of his fortune in cryptocurrencies. He began investing in 2015 and announced a $500 million crypto fund, which includes $150 million of his own fortune in 2017. The fund's mandate is broad as compared to existing investment firms and includes market-making activities in the space. Meet the man traveling the world on $25 million of Bitcoin profits. Last month, I found myself sitting next to a multi-millionaire in the 56th floor Horizon Club Lounge of the island Shangri-La, Hong Kong. He made no attempt to hide the fact that he was swimming in cash. I just wouldn't have guessed he made it all from Bitcoin. This is how he did it. Mr. Smith, who asked me to conceal his real name, has been traveling the world in ultra-luxurious style for the past 4 years. He flies only first class, stays exclusively in 5-star suites, and hasn't cooked since Thanksgiving. In the past 30 days, he's visited Singapore, New York City, Las Vegas, Monaco, Moscow, back to New York City, Zurich, and now Hong Kong. Never a dull moment, he says, lifting his glass of champagne in a Gatsby-esque salute. Then he shared his story. After finishing college in 2008, Smith landed a respectable job as a software engineer for a large technology company in Silicon Valley. He was a good employee, close with many of his coworkers. It was through one of these equally geeky friends in July 2010 that Smith first heard about Bitcoin, shortly after its first major price increase, when the cryptocurrency appreciated tenfold from 0.008 to 0.08 over the course of 5 days. Smith's response, though intrigued, was measured. That price jump really got my attention, but I still waited a few more months before investing. I wanted to learn more about the underlying technology first. By October 2010, Smith was ready to jump in. I had no idea how much to invest, but I was getting paid pretty well at the time, so I decided on $3,000. He paid just over 15 cents per Bitcoin, giving him slightly under $20,000. At the time, expecting any sort of return was a moonshot. Even in Silicon Valley, simply mentioning Bitcoin was enough to raise eyebrows. The cryptocurrency hummed along fairly quietly, and though Smith would check on the price every couple of months, he assures, I knew from the very start I was playing the long game. I wanted to see how high it could go. For the next 3 years, Smith worked his day job and largely forgot about his investment until Bitcoin's price leap started making more mainstream news in 2013. I couldn't believe how quickly it was appreciating, says Smith, speaking very quickly now. It started rising by 10% or more every day. I was nervous and excited and terrified and confused all at the same time. When the price hit $350, more than 2,000 times what he paid for it, Smith sold 2,000 of his early stock. When the price hit $800 just days later, he sold 2,000 more. Just like that, Smith had landed upon a windfall of $2.3 million. It was absolutely insane, he says. I quit my job and left on a round-the-world trip the following week. Just then, Smith's girlfriend, a London-based photographer who accompanies him on about half of his travels, joined us. He's constantly talking about Bitcoin, she said, shaking her head. If he starts talking about it, he'll never stop. Ever. We'd been on the topic for over an hour at this point, but my curiosity was far from satiated. I urged Smith to show me some proof to back up his claims. After all, he could just be a smooth talker with some family money to vaunt. After going through several rounds of security checks on his iPhone and requesting that I hand him my phone at the same time, NFC scares me more than it should, he turned to me with his Bitcoin wallet exposed. Lo and behold, I saw what he had promised. A balance of 1,000 BTC worth $2.6 million as of this writing. Where did the rest of his 20,000 Bitcoins go? Smith walked me through a series of recent sell-offs because, he says, excessive speculation has pushed the price to an unsustainably high level. It was clear that he had a lot of thoughts on the notion of a current price bubble, but I decided to push for what I was really curious about instead. How much has he profited from Bitcoin overall? The answer came without any hesitation or arrogance. $25 million, give or take. $25 million from an initial investment of $3,000. Those are the sort of returns that make a Bitcoin millionaire. Of course, Smith still owns 1,000 Bitcoins, which he plans to sell. When the price reaches $150,000, a million-fold appreciation from his original buy-in price, I really do think it will get there, he says confidently, but a lot of governments and companies will have to be on board first. No amount of speculation in the world will push it that high. When I asked Smith why he chose to sell when he did, and whether he'll feel remorse if the price jumps tenfold again, he shakes his head. I have everything I've ever dreamed of now. I fly all over the world visiting friends. I do whatever I want with my time, and I never have to worry about money for the rest of my life. I'd be an absolute fool not to cash out now. Smith is the epitome of new money, a millennial millionaire with no reservations about flaunting his wealth. It's been 4 years since he left his regular life in Silicon Valley behind, and in that span he's been traveling non-stop. Even still, I have a strong feeling that whether he's got millions in the bank or not, Smith will never find himself without a place to sleep. If you can bring entertainment to people's lives, you become special. And once you've built up that level of social capital, no matter how much money you have, you can always rest easy, knowing that friends will invite you over, serve you dinner, and sit down on a couch to listen to your stories. Top 10 richest Bitcoin millionaires in 2017. Digital cryptocurrency Bitcoin was extremely underground when it was launched in 2008. The idea of a purely digital currency not based on fiat was thought of before, but Bitcoin was the first mainstream execution of that concept. Bitcoin became a worldwide sensation when its value hit $1,000 in 2013. Early adopters and investors in the currency became Bitcoin millionaires as a result. Gavin Anderson, $2 million. Although Satoshi Nakamoto is often credited as the main developer of Bitcoin, Gavin Anderson made it what it is today. Anderson has been rumored to be Satoshi himself, a claim which he denies. Instead, he states that he was closely corresponded with the developer for many years. He was chosen as Nakamoto's successor of sorts in 2010 and maintains the source code of Bitcoin to this day. As time passes, Gavin Anderson speculates that Bitcoin will require less maintenance. While Anderson needs to work less, Bitcoin's value will continually rise. The developer has already cashed out multiple times. He was once paid over $200,000 by the Bitcoin Foundation for his contributions. Of course, he accepted that payment in Bitcoin. UFO Guru, $5 million. In order for Bitcoin transactions to be processed and added to the transaction record, known as the blockchain, they must be solved with computing power. Since Bitcoin is peer-to-peer, users are responsible for mining. They are rewarded with Bitcoins for mining. Users previously used their GPU's computing power to add to the blockchain until NYU student UFO Guru engineered the first purpose-built Bitcoin miner. UFO Guru founded Avalon in 2012. The company's miners became so popular they were sold out as soon as they were produced. Miners retailing for several $100s were selling for many times more. Guru left the Avalon project after a year. Several other companies began selling Bitcoin miners after Avalon, but Guru was the first to become a Bitcoin millionaire selling such miners. Winklevoss twins, $11 million. Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss rose to prominence after their legal battle with Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. The pair have launched numerous successful business ventures, and their investments in Bitcoin alone have earned them $11 million. The twins' combined net worth is $400 million. The Winklevoss twins have funded several Bitcoin-related ventures. They invested $1.5 million in fellow Bitcoin entrepreneur Charlie Shrem's company, BitInstant, in 2013. In 2014, they created Windex, a financial index that tracks the average price of Bitcoin. The Winklevoss twins even created their own Bitcoin exchange, Gemini, in 2015. Tony Gallippi, $20 million. Entrepreneur Tony Gallippi was one of the first people to found a Bitcoin payment processor. The company, BitPay, is one of the most popular of its kind. It processes $1 million worth of payments every day. It was also one of the first companies to have agreements with major retailers. In 2014, BitPay employed over 80 people. Gallippi stated that he aimed to have over 1 million merchants enrolled by 2016. Prolific investors and business tycoons such as Richard Branson, Jerry Yang, and Li Ka-shing have invested in Bitcoin. Jared Kenna, $30 million. Former United States Marine Jared Kenna got his start when Bitcoins were only 20 cents per coin. Intrigued, he invested a large amount of money in the currency, which paid off after several years. His first investment venture provided him with enough funds to launch several business ventures. His first company was TradeHill, a Bitcoin dark, anonymous mining pool. Kenna was the first to pioneer dark mining pools. Kenna now runs a craft brewery in Colombia. The brewery accepts Bitcoins, of course. He also opened 20 Mission in San Francisco, a collaborative workspace for startups and entrepreneurs. Dave Carlson, $35 million. With enough hardware, Bitcoin mining can be an extremely profitable venture. Dave Carlson is likely the first Bitcoin millionaire to have mined their way to riches. After founding company Mega Big Power from his basement, he began to mine on an industrial scale. Carlson reported that he made over $8 million per month in 2016 from his 2,000-square-foot warehouse. Charlie Shrem, $45 million. Charlie Shrem is possibly the most influential Bitcoin millionaire. Charlie Shrem bought a large quantity of Bitcoin when it was trading cheaply. At only 22 years old, he founded BitInstant with some of the funds. The company was extremely successful at first, but in December 2014, Shrem was accused and found guilty of laundering money to the infamous deep web black market, the Silk Road. Shrem states that he did not knowingly handle any money for illicit purposes. After his release from prison in 2016, Shrem got right back to business and launched Intellisys Capital. The firm sells investment portfolios in blockchain companies. Charlie Shrem is close friends with fellow Bitcoin innovator and investor Roger Ver. Roger Ver, $52 million. Some people love Bitcoin so much they can't help but spread the joy. Bitcoin millionaire Roger Ver has generously shared his wealth to spread the word of Bitcoin. For his outspoken advocacy and generosity, Roger Ver was given the moniker Bitcoin Jesus. Roger Ver's passion for Bitcoin stems from his desire for it to rival fiat currencies. His first investment was in his friend Charlie Shrem's company BitInstant. Roger Ver is the first Bitcoin startup investor. Although Ver was already a successful entrepreneur before getting into Bitcoin, doing so greatly multiplied his riches. He has also donated millions to charity. Ross Ulbricht, the FBI, $100 million. Bitcoin has undeniable potential to change the world. However, Bitcoin also has a sinister side. Its anonymous nature makes transactions nearly impossible to track. Numerous black markets have appeared on the deep web selling drugs, contraband, and illegal services. The first of these markets was the Silk Road, created by Dread Pirate Roberts. Even before Bitcoin was worth $1,000, Dread Pirate Roberts was a Bitcoin millionaire several times over. In September 2013, the FBI tracked Dread Pirate Roberts down. Their investigation led to American Ross Ulbricht, who was sentenced to life in prison for money laundering, hacking, and conspiracy to traffic narcotics. The FBI shut down the Silk Road and seized over 144,000 Bitcoins then being held as escrow. As a result, the largest Bitcoin wallet in the world now belongs to the FBI. Satoshi Nakamoto, $1.1 billion. Becoming a Bitcoin millionaire is possible, but what does it take to become a Bitcoin billionaire? Doing so would be incredibly difficult unless one was involved from the beginning or if they created the currency themselves. The name Satoshi Nakamoto is likely not the real name of Bitcoin's creator, simply a pseudonym. Numerous attempts have been made to uncover the enigmatic creator of Bitcoin's true identity, to no avail. Few records of Nakamoto exist other than email correspondence records between him and Bitcoin developers. What is known about him, however, is that he currently holds 1.1 million Bitcoins, worth over $1.1 billion today. Bitcoin millionaire. Don't invest in Bitcoin. It's impossible to actually value Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a global craze. Even my barber, who has no idea what a blockchain is buying it. Because so many new people are buying it, and so quickly, it's impossible to accurately put a value on it. When the price of anything fluctuates 20 to 30% in one day, it's obviously unstable. So you could lose all of your money very quickly. Especially if you need your money in the next year, don't buy Bitcoin. With the insane short-term fluctuations, Bitcoin is short-term gambling, not investing. There may not be any value in Bitcoin at all. The value behind Bitcoin is the blockchain technology, which has been easily replicated by other digital currencies. Many of these have actually built better and easier to use versions. Litecoin is a good example. Sure, Bitcoin has an early mover advantage, but it was created to buy and sell things online securely, which no one else is doing right now because the price is so insane and transaction costs are skyrocketing. All of the trading volume is also causing significant delays, with some exchanges reporting up to 10 days to get your money in or out, and more than a week for your Bitcoin to be sent. The cost of sending Bitcoin is also skyrocketing since the price is fluctuating so wildly, the value of it could be significantly higher or lower than when you sent the money. Most people aren't buying into the value of the technology. They're buying into the hype. This is gambling, not investing. Bitcoin still isn't all that secure. You might think that digital wallets are secure, but cryptocurrency exchanges and wallets continue to get hacked regularly. More than $70 million in Bitcoin was hacked from NiceHash, a Bitcoin mining marketplace, last week. Just because exchanges like Coinbase have $200 million in venture funding, a nice shiny marketplace doesn't mean they can't get hacked either. Because there is no central governing body guaranteeing your Bitcoin, if you lose it, it can be difficult to get back. If it gets stolen, then you're out of luck. Hacks will continue to happen. If you do decide to buy Bitcoin, I encourage you to buy responsibly. Don't buy using more than 1% of your net worth, and be honest with yourself. Bitcoin is a gamble, not an investment. It's super risky, and there are far better places to invest your money securely for both the long and short term. So, you want to become a Bitcoin millionaire. Do you take Bitcoins? The Bitcoin is essentially a speculative vehicle for geeks. Basically, do not eat out and expect to pay for the meal with Bitcoins. Not long ago, you could have bought illicit drugs with the currency, but the FBI closed down Silk Road earlier this year, which allowed people to buy illegal substances anonymously. Some legitimate vendors have taken to Bitcoin, allowing customers to purchase real products and services with the digital currency. Richard Branson of the Virgin Group has even decided to accept Bitcoins through his Virgin Galactic. Reddit allows you to use Bitcoin to buy Reddit Gold. Yes, you can't buy your everyday groceries with Bitcoins, but you can buy a trip to space. While some everyday vendors have looked into accepting Bitcoins too, most of the demand for the currency has been fueled by speculators rather than early adopters. If you're looking to use Bitcoin to pay for stuff, you need a Bitcoin wallet like Coinbase. It's a simple website app that allows you to securely store your Bitcoins and sell them. With so much volatility, using Bitcoins in everyday life would be extremely risky anyway. Buying a TV for $1,000 might have cost up to 10 Bitcoins last month and just 1 Bitcoin now. With such volatility, any serious commerce conducted with Bitcoins is likely to result in one party losing out on a lot of value. So right now, the cryptocurrency is realistically just a tool for speculation. Coinbase is one of the major Bitcoin exchanges, which allows you to buy and sell Bitcoins as you please. You sign up, deposit real-world money, and exchange the currency with relatively low fees. Bitcoin's bullish history. First, let's take a look at the price history. According to Bitstamp, as of today, the market capitalization is over $12 billion with over 12 million Bitcoins in the system. Until 2013, Bitcoins were trading for either less than $10 each or not much over. As soon as 2013 started, Bitcoin seemed to ever increase in value until April 9th, when they peaked at well over $200. By April 16th, Bitcoins had lost almost half their value. Since April, Bitcoins have made a ridiculous comeback. Bitstamp shows that the price of a Bitcoin didn't reach its previous peak until November this year. However, in this same month, Bitcoin surged up to well over $1,000 apiece. Right now, they seem to be fluctuating. Of course, this is all speculative. You can make all the predictions you want, but no one knows what the future holds for Bitcoin. Is it just a fad, or could Bitcoin genuinely develop into an everyday currency? If it really took off, would the government not just ban it completely? Only time will tell, but for now, let's speculate. As of December 2017, the price of Bitcoin has passed $18,000. Many people have made millions and billions investing in Bitcoin. Furthermore, there have been hard forks, i.e. splits, into things like Bitcoin Cash, which have also boosted people's profits. How to make $1 million with Bitcoins. You have two options, mine or trade. By mining for Bitcoins, as long as the markets remain active, you can basically make money for nothing. But the problem is mining is such a tough gig now that it is hardly worth it. Turning your computer into a miner will likely make it noisy and heat up. It would likely take you a long time to even mine a single Bitcoin, by which time you would probably have spent more on electricity. However, if you have access to some serious computing power and you don't have to pay the bills, you could make some easy money here. The more realistic way of making $1 million with Bitcoins is going to be trading them through the most prominent exchanges such as Coinbase. Back in 2011, you could have bought Bitcoins for $10. Selling them at $1,000 today would have delivered a profit of $990 per Bitcoin. Basically, you should have bought about 1,000 Bitcoins back when they were cheap. This would have cost you around $10,000 in 2011, making you a millionaire today. Making $1 million with Bitcoins today is probably still possible, but you'll need some capital. Bitcoins can fluctuate many percentage points every day. On May 22, 2017, the price jumped up to 10%. Day trading Bitcoins is going to be risky, but where there is volatility, there is opportunity. Otherwise, you might need to take a longer-term approach and conclude whether or not you think Bitcoin will be successful. If you think Bitcoin is going to be traded by foreign exchange dealers, market makers, and institutions one day, you might want to go long. Buying right now would be incredibly risky. The price chart is screaming bubble, but your point of entry is up to you. Don't expect to see more of the same fast growth now, though. On the other hand, if you have a strong conviction in the downfall of the Bitcoin, you need to short the cryptocurrency in any way you can. This would be an extremely risky endeavor still, but if the Bitcoin market is truly destined for failure, why not get rich when the bubble pops? To short Bitcoin, you'll either need to get creative or join an exchange which allows you to do so. Are the ways to invest in Bitcoin? It's important to remember that Bitcoin is a currency, not a stock or bond. This means that investing in it is like investing in a currency. You're essentially hoping the value of Bitcoin relative to your native currency goes up. If you want to invest in an ETF through your broker, check out the GBTC at Stockpile. This ETF tracks Bitcoin, and you can invest in fractional shares. Remember, you can also invest in Litecoin or invest in Ethereum as well. But what if I'm sane? If you are a sane individual, Bitcoins probably don't excite you too much. The risk-reward of the Bitcoin market is not going to be very appealing to the savvy investor. This is just a chance to either make a quick buck or lose everything. Bitcoins may well take off in the real world in the future. But then again, what would stop another cryptocurrency from emerging and defeating the Bitcoin, especially if it was indeed better? Bitcoin billionaires hiding in plain sight. Bitcoin's anonymous yet transparent nature makes for some interesting reading when trawling through the easily accessible information on the top wallets out there. While these top 10 wallets do not have names attached to them, some are easy to figure out. The Winklevoss twins made history in early December by becoming the first widely accepted Bitcoin billionaires. It was estimated at the time of print that the twins held 91,666, which equated to 1.063 bin. However, these high-profile twins are one of the few that are solidly in the spotlight that is easy to speculate on their wealth. It is believed that there could be far more Bitcoin billionaires out there lurking in the shadow. Distributed funds on a distributed ledger. If it was the norm to hold all our funds in one wallet, it would be easy to put together a rich list and speculate who belongs where. However, not only does Bitcoin's anonymous nature, but its practices of good coin storage also makes things difficult. The normal procedure, especially for those whose funds are closer to billions than hundreds, like most mere mortals, is to split the wealth over a number of wallets and other storage methods. It is a lesson that everyone should heed when it comes to keeping one's fortune on the Wild West that is Bitcoin exchanges. As many as 200 billionaires. A representative for BitInfo Charts, who wished to remain anonymous because of security concerns, told MSN in an email that given Bitcoin's current overall market capitalization and that most people hold Bitcoin at multiple addresses, there may actually be as many as 200 Bitcoin billionaires and possibly no fewer than 35. The rep noted that it's likely most of these addresses are owned by exchanges or hedge funds. A billionaire could keep on being created without much work needing to be done by some of the more than 100 addresses that already have over 100 min in Bitcoin currently. The growth of Bitcoin has turned many people into millionaires and is doing the same with those people taking the step up to billionaires. Better to hide in plain sight? If there are so many of these billionaires out there making a massive profit from some savvy early trading or clever trading perhaps, why are they so hidden and secretive? The king of secrecy and anonymity is, of course, Bitcoin's creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, who has been estimated to be sitting on 1 min Bitcoins. Much has been made over Nakamoto's reasoning for remaining hidden and seemingly out of all Bitcoin activity, but there is also speculation mounting over his fortune, which could be rivaling some of the richest men in the world. Blockchain revolution. The technology of the blockchain is revolutionary, not only in name, but in nature too. Those who understand the technology behind Bitcoin know what cryptocurrencies can become, but those who only understand that Bitcoin has a chance of doubling its value every 3 months are pushing it into bubble territory. The evidence is there, though. The threat that blockchain and cryptocurrencies pose can be seen in a way in which most central banks and regulators are reacting to it, knowing their monopoly is under threat. But as it stands, even with the exponential expanding of the crypto community, which is also an intellectual expansion, there needs to be a balancing out of the financial speculators and the technological innovators. When Bitcoin was chugging towards making fiat currency obsolete, it was doing so with a much lower number of users who were more focused on the technology. Now as the network has swelled, the direction of Bitcoin, as the lead example, has changed, and the community is a different demographic. Useless digital gold. Bitcoin is in a precarious position. It is the most popular and well-known and thus the most likely to be disruptive in any sense of the word. but it has gone down a pretty useless path in terms of revolution. The fact that Bitcoin is an asset, a store of value, digital gold, because of its scaling issue and other reasons, makes it much less of a revolutionary, more of a bloated, get-rich-quick scheme. This is not the fault of the coin, the technology, or those driving its development, and it is the fault of those who use it for the wrong reasons. What can you learn from the cryptocurrency millionaires? Where do we start? Maybe from a 12-year-old kid who hated going to school so much he made a bet with his parents. If he becomes a millionaire before turning 18, they won't force him to go to college. Today, at the age of 18, Eric Finman owns 403 bitcoins, which at the current $8,233 value puts his Bitcoin value at $3.3 million. He also has some smaller investments in Ether and Litecoin. Officially a school dropout, Eric now manages his and his family Bitcoin investments, lives in Silicon Valley, and keeps himself busy with all kinds of projects that have nothing to do with school. Jeremy Gardner is another self-made millionaire that has built himself a reputation of a visionary investor and placed himself at the heart of the crypto community. By dedicating my life to crypto assets and blockchain technology, I've made more money than I would have ever expected to make in my entire life by a long shot. He said this to Business Insider. He bought his first coins in 2013 following the controversy around Silk Road, a dark internet marketplace that facilitated buying and selling of drugs and speculation. Soon after that, he threw all of his savings and stock holdings into crypto investment and became a true Bitcoin evangelist. In 2013, Jeremy launched a blockchain-based market forecasting tool called Augur that raised $5.5 million in an ICO in 2015. With a knack for business and a natural entrepreneurial mindset, Mofo Dagata, 23, was naturally drawn to crypto investments after first coming across it in 2013. While at university, Mofo started a cleaning and laundry business and invested all of his profits in Bitcoin. He now owns a chain of fast food restaurants and a logistics company. How do you know which coins will succeed? You don't. That's the catch. Trying to pick winners can be a bit like chasing a rabbit down a hole. No one can confidently say they know which coins will succeed. Some crypto analysts and enthusiasts who follow the industry news very closely and are truly immersed in crypto investing are often able to identify the most promising coins, but even they can't say for sure that the investments will, and let alone when, yield substantial returns. One strategy that has been shown to have potential is letting the winners find you rather than the other way around. This millionth of supply passive indexing strategy shared on Steemit uses a spreadsheet that feeds off CoinMarketCap's API and lists the top coins by market cap and daily trading volume. Closely following the swings of the market allows you to spot the coins favored by other investors and get into the game early while there's still plenty of room to make decent profits. More often than not, determining the future success of crypto coins before they hit the big jackpot is a matter of serious due diligence and a pinch of luck. Don't rely on any one strategy to guide you to success. Rather, gather and map out the information available to you using the community insights and the general buzz behind the scenes to pick out the right ICOs for your investment. Hold on to your coins, silly. Do you remember the story about Christopher Koch from Norway, who bought 5,000 bitcoins in 2009 and completely forgot about them until the Bitcoin hit the media headlines again in 2013? He ended up with a pot of bitcoins worth, at the time of discovery, around $886,000. If you don't know the story, the moral is simple. Invest in the most promising coins and forget about it. Although it's true that Koch wasn't able to resist the temptation to reap the returns, as he exchanged 1/5 of his 5,000 bitcoins, generating enough kroner to buy an apartment in Tøyen, one of the Norwegian capital's wealthier areas. The first rule of any investment is to buy and hold. You've already done extensive research that led you to the investment decision. Now sit tight and wait for the rewards. If you're struggling to see the argument, just think about Bitcoin. Since 2016, the value of Bitcoin has soared eightfold, despite numerous predictions from skeptics that it's going to flop. Many investors who held on to their coins until now can probably call themselves self-made millionaires, and those who sold or exchanged early are probably mellowing in regret. Resisting the urge to cash in your coins when their value shoots up is incredibly difficult because there's always a risk of the value decreasing just as fast. But it's been proven time and time again that investment is a long-haul game. Obviously, take some profits to enjoy your success, but try to hold on to the majority of your coins to make sure you don't lose out in the future. Keep your coins safe. Why undo all your hard work and smart investments by ignoring the safety advice? It cannot be stressed enough how important it is to keep your coins safe, and here's how you can do it. First of all, don't keep your coins in a hot wallet. The general advice is to transfer most of your crypto assets to a wallet that you control, and best of all, to a hardware wallet. The main difference between a hot crypto wallet and a cold wallet is that the first one is connected to the internet, whereas the latter one is not. Hackers can't steal your cryptocurrencies from a wallet that is not connected to the internet. Most people who invest in cryptocurrencies have both hot and cold wallets, but use them for different purposes. Think about the hot wallet as your current bank account and the cold wallet as your savings. You should only keep as many coins in your hot wallet as you need to make daily purchases. All the rest should sit securely in a cold wallet. Another basic thing to remember is to keep your private key hidden. Just don't forget where you hide it, because losing your private key also means losing all the assets that are inside your wallet. One of the crypto millionaires has shared his success story with the Reddit community, revealing one of the silliest security mistakes he made since he started trading. "I once got hacked and lost 5,000 ETH and 10,000 LTC by having an image of my ETH and LCT wallets on my desktop as a PNG file. I must have had a remote thing and they got everything." The more substantial are your crypto assets, the more likely it is someone will try to steal them from you. Don't make it easy for hackers to get away with your coins. What are some of the most promising ICOs at the moment? Remember, never invest in a cryptocurrency just because someone said it's going to appreciate. Doing your own research is vital. Cryptocurrencies are volatile, so you want to make sure your investment is driven by thorough research, not a hunch. With that said, here are a few coins that we think are worth checking. Sia Coin. As the Filecoin's record-breaking ICO that raised $257 million in minutes has demonstrated, crypto enthusiasts truly believe in the idea of decentralized storage. Sia Coin already has a working product and a network of users. It promises to drastically cut storage costs as well as give users a chance to sell their storage space on the Sia blockchain marketplace. However, as it is obvious now, Sia is not the only player on the market. While we predict that the price of Sia Coin will increase, no one knows which company or companies will succeed in the end. Fast Invest Token, FIT. Fast Invest is currently building an extension to its P2P lending program that will allow customers to take out fiat currency-based loans using cryptocurrency as a security deposit. Crypto-approved lending services will be accessible only to Fast Investment token holders that can be acquired during our ICO that opens on the 4th of December. Crypto-approved lending is a unique way for crypto users to utilize their crypto assets. And with the traditional P2P market experiencing its best years yet, the potential for growth and ROI is more than promising. Amice Go. Amice Go is a promising product. It essentially offers Stripe-like features, enabling real-time value exchange and payment services across jurisdictions and both fiat money and decentralized currencies. They have a great team and a clear direction, and their token holders will make money by way of transaction fees. This means that as the transaction volume increases, token holders will earn more, which indicates the price of the coin should go up. How do I develop a millionaire mindset? We all want to be millionaires. There is no one who would turn down the opportunity to have $1 million in their bank account, so they could give more, travel more, spend more, or work less. Whether we like it or not, you can't function in the world without money, and the more you have, the more freedom it entails. Before you can become a millionaire in your finances, however, you have to become a millionaire in your mind. Even if you win the lottery and become an instant millionaire, you will not be able to keep it without a millionaire mindset. Here's why. What is a millionaire mindset? You can have a millionaire mindset without having $1 million in your bank account. It is all about how you think about your finances and how you make decisions when it comes to money. Don't wait until you have the million to change your thinking. Start developing a millionaire mindset now. This will do two very important things. It'll help you reach those $1 million and help you keep it once you have it. Even if you never reach the exact 1 million mark, you will have more and be able to do more because you have a millionaire mindset. For me, it took many years and lots of studying of current millionaires and how they got to where they are now. I also looked at successful people around me who were what Thomas Stanley calls the millionaires next door. It's a must-read, by the way. How to develop a millionaire mindset today. Save first, then spend. Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. If you always spend 100% or more of what you make, you will never have money. However, if you save 10% and spend the rest, you can become a millionaire by just using the awesome tools available to everyone. For example, if you invest $100 a month from age 25 to 65 in a good growth stock mutual fund, most average 10 to 12% over time, then you will have $1.7 million. And I'm here to tell you, if you have $100 a month, you may currently be spending it on lattes, eating out, movies, clothes, etc. But if you look real close, you have it. Just doing this one thing early in life can set you up for a great retirement. Don't think because you were older than 25 there's no hope for you. Start somewhere. Start small if necessary, but begin forming the habit of saving something first and then spending what's left. Coupled with my next piece of advice, you'll be on your way to wealth and financial freedom. Debt is not an asset. You will never hear a millionaire say it was their debt that got them there. Debt is when you owe more than you have. Basically, when your net worth is less than zero. Using debt to pay for stuff mortgages your future because of something you want right now. Having a millionaire mindset is having the patience to wait to purchase an item or take a trip until you have the cash to do so. Yes, this means you may have to wait. And yes, it may mean you miss an opportunity altogether. But it is worth it in the long run. Whenever you are looking to make a purchase, take a moment to look at the future. What will you have to sacrifice, and is it worth it? Always think about the future. People with a millionaire mindset do not just live for today. They know that there is a future out there and they prepare for it. This way of thinking not only encompasses the examples above, but also includes their goals and dreams. You see, millionaire thinkers have goals. They have dreamt about what they want their life to look like, and they have a tentative plan on how to achieve it. Goals are essential to any success story. Good goals have 4 very important elements. They are written, realistic, they are adjustable, and specific. You have an awesome, bright future ahead of you no matter what your current circumstances are. But to move your dreams from your head to reality, you need to have a plan. Millionaires have a plan. Their plans may change as they journey through life, but they never give up on their future. What you believe will become your reality. If you believe you will never be a millionaire, odds are you won't. This is not because someone has an advantage over you or has better luck than you do. It is simply because they believe they could and set about developing a plan to do so. Remember, in the example above, it only takes a small amount per month, depending on your age, to invest in good things, and anyone can do it. You can be a millionaire. Yes, you. All you need to do is change your way of thinking and believe that it can happen. There are many millionaires out there that are just like you and me. The only difference is that they have a millionaire mindset. Who are the richest Bitcoin millionaires? Curiosity about the identities of the richest Bitcoin millionaires rises every time the price of the digital currency jumps higher. This year alone has brought staggering boosts in wealth for those Bitcoin owners. A person who owns 1,000 Bitcoins becomes $100,000 wealthier every time the Bitcoin price goes up just $100. The price of Bitcoin has soared more than $1,500 higher this year. That means a Bitcoin millionaire holding 1,000 Bitcoin has enjoyed a $1.5 million gain in less than 6 months. But Bitcoin millionaires aren't as common as you might think, given its huge gains. At the current Bitcoin price of about $2,500, a person needs 400 Bitcoin to qualify as a Bitcoin millionaire. According to BitInfoCharts.com, just over 4,300 Bitcoin addresses hold 400 or more Bitcoins. But since one person can have multiple Bitcoin addresses, the actual number of Bitcoin millionaires is certainly much lower than 4,300. It's impossible to calculate the exact number of Bitcoin millionaires or to even know how many Bitcoins one person may own. The reason is that while all Bitcoin addresses are public, who owns them isn't. 7 of the world's top Bitcoin millionaires. Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss. Estimated Bitcoin owned, 1.5 million. Estimated value at $2,500, $3.75 billion. The Winklevoss twins gained fame when they sued Mark Zuckerberg for allegedly stealing the idea for Facebook Incorporated, New York Stock Exchange Facebook, from them. But in 2013, they used part of their $65 million settlement to buy $1.5 million Bitcoin. That investment, valued at $11 million at the time by the New York Times, has increased more than 31,000% since then. The identical twins aren't just Bitcoin investors, though. They've also launched one of the leading Bitcoin exchanges, Gemini, and developed a proposal for a Bitcoin ETF, the Winklevoss Bitcoin Trust, that was rejected by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, in March. Satoshi Nakamoto, estimated Bitcoins owned 1 million, estimated value at $2,500, $2.5 billion. The mysterious creator of Bitcoin is believed to control about 1 million Bitcoins, most of those mined in the earliest days of the cryptocurrency, when only a handful of programmers were even aware it existed. Back then, the block reward was 50 Bitcoins, and the difficulty so low that you could mine plenty of Bitcoin with an average laptop. It's unclear if Nakamoto is a pseudonym for one person or a group of people, or where he, she, they may be now. But the Bitcoins known to belong to Nakamoto have never been spent or transferred. The rest of these names might not be quite as familiar. Roger Ver, estimated Bitcoins owned 300,000, estimated value at $2,500, $750 million. Ver is one of Bitcoin's original proponents, so much so that he's known as Bitcoin Jesus. Back in 2011, when Bitcoin was trading for about $10, he boldly predicted the digital currency would outperform all other asset classes over the ensuing 2 years by 100 times. The bubble in late 2013, when Bitcoin soared from about $100 to nearly $1,200 in less than 4 months, proved him correct. At its peak in 2013, Bitcoin outperformed other assets by 300 times. Ver also invested in many Bitcoin-based startups in that period. Today, he's CEO of Bitcoin.com, a catch-all site aimed at introducing people to Bitcoin. Charlie Shrem, estimated Bitcoins owned 100,000, estimated value at $2,500, $250 million. Like Ver, Shrem was an early advocate of Bitcoin. He founded a Bitcoin startup, BitInstant, in 2011 and started pouring money into the digital currency. BitInstant allowed customers to obtain Bitcoin from 700,000 stores, including Walmart Stores Incorporated, New York Stock Exchange WMT. But BitInstant failed to comply with money laundering laws. Shrem was sentenced to 2 years in prison in 2014 for funneling money to the online marketplace Silk Road, which let customers pay for illegal drugs with Bitcoin. BitInstant was shut down. Today, Shrem is free and works as the head of business and community development for Jaxx, a cryptocurrency wallet startup that allows customers to exchange one digital currency for another. Michael Novogratz, estimated Bitcoins owned 42,000, estimated value at $2,500, $105 million. Mike Novogratz is best known as a hedge fund manager with Fortress Investment Group, New York Stock Exchange FIG. But he became interested in Bitcoin as early as 2013, buying some of the digital currency as well as directing some Fortress money into Pantera Capital, a hedge fund that invests in cryptocurrency-based ventures. In April, Novogratz said he held about 10% of his net worth in cryptocurrencies, primarily Bitcoin and Ethereum. A rough estimate of his net worth, in the $500 million to $750 million range, puts his Bitcoin stash at about 42,000 coins. Anthony Gillespie, estimated Bitcoins owned 34,000, estimated value at $2,500, $85 million. Gillespie was another entrepreneur early to Bitcoin. He founded BitPay, a Bitcoin payment processing and wallet startup. In 2011, the BitPay card allows customers to load their Bitcoin onto a Visa credit card. Considered a leading expert on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, Gillespie testified on the subject before Congress in 2013. Last summer, when one Bitcoin was going for about $600, estimates of the value of his Bitcoin holdings were in the neighborhood of $20 million. With the rise in Bitcoin price, Gillespie's stash is worth more than 4 times that now. Tim Draper, estimated Bitcoins owned 30,000, estimated value at $2,500, $75 million. A founding partner of venture capital firm Draper Fisher Jurvetson, Tim Draper surprised many observers in June 2014 when he won all of the 29,656 Bitcoins auctioned off by the U.S. Marshals Service. Federal authorities had confiscated that batch of coins when it shut down the Silk Road website, which had allowed people to buy illegal drugs with Bitcoin. Draper is convinced that Bitcoin will disrupt the financial industry. Last December, Draper gave Money Morning the most optimistic Bitcoin price prediction of all the Bitcoin influencers we polled, $10,000 by the end of 2017. Bitcoin success stories you didn't know about. Consistently finding itself amidst enormous success, Bitcoin has become one of the most affluent cryptocurrencies in the world, along with other majors like Ethereum, Ripple, etc. We could say that it has not reached its peak value, since a lot of people are not fully aware of it, and not all Bitcoins have been mined out there as of yet. There is a cap of a maximum of 21 million Bitcoins that can be produced. This means that there lies great scope of investing and earning in the coming future. But there are some people who spotted this opportunity much earlier. In its earlier days, Bitcoins cost far lesser than they do now. By much less, we mean 2,000 to 3,000% less. People who invested in Bitcoins in the beginning, or even in 2013 or 2015, when Bitcoin was crashing badly, have turned into millionaires today. Let's read more about such people who have amassed fortune through Bitcoin. Bought and forgot. A man named Christopher Koch invested 150 kroner, which is just $26.60, in the year 2009 and bought 5,000 Bitcoins. He was writing a thesis on encryption at the time and came across Bitcoins during his research. At that time, the currency was in its nascent stage, and so after performing this small investment, he entirely forgot all about it. It was in April 2013, when there was a widespread media coverage of this strange currency, that Christopher remembered that he too owned some Bitcoins. Now, since it was a cryptocurrency, it was stored in a secure e-wallet, the password of which Koch had forgotten. After numerous failed attempts, he was successful in logging in, and to his surprise, they were worth $886,000, or 5.6 crores. A teenager? Really? In 2012, a 15-year-old boy named Eric Finman got motivated to try his hand at investment. On Easter, his grandmother gifted him $1,000. Eric bought Bitcoins of all the money he had received. Surprisingly, a year later, his money was worth $100,000, and he sold all his Bitcoins. His successful experience motivated him to open his own company called Bowtangle.com. Bowtangle is a web venture where he provides video tutoring services, and he pays all his employees in Bitcoins. Living on Bitcoins. 26-year-old Olaf Carson Wee got hired in a Bitcoin startup named Coinbase in February of 2013. At that time, one Bitcoin was worth $20 to $30. He decided to get paid in Bitcoins only. According to Olaf, he already knew the great potential of this cryptocurrency. At that time, hardly anyone had heard of Bitcoins, and so he decided to collect lots and speculate. This far-sightedness of Olaf has turned him into a millionaire today, and ever since he first started earning, he makes all possible transactions with the help of Bitcoins. He finds it to be a more democratic form of currency. What if? What if you had bought RS500 worth of Bitcoins just 7 years ago? How much would they cost today? Well, one would be surprised to hear those 7 years ago, one Bitcoin was worth just a quarter of a cent. This means that RS500 Bitcoins bought 7 years ago could turn a person into a millionaire today. This is true. RS500 at that time could be worth 44 cores today. The value of Bitcoins has multiplied 879,999 times over since 2010. The beginning of 2017 was a golden year for all the Bitcoin owners, since after Japan legalized this cryptocurrency, an exponential rise was seen in its cost. The best thing about investing in Bitcoins is that since there cannot exist more than 21 million Bitcoins altogether, their value is definitely going to increase. And it will not decrease even if there is turmoil in the world economy. Why? This is because it is a limited resource and therefore valuable. Of course, it might see its bad days, but there is a meager chance of value becoming nil altogether. If you haven't started already, registering on Uno Coin would be a good place to start. See what these Bitcoin millionaires are doing with their money now. Bitcoin millionaires aren't just buying Lambos and moving to Japan. Here's how they spend their money and what they do with it. The term Bitcoin millionaire today is not uncommon, with many individuals having made a fortune from investing in the first cryptocurrency that launched in 2009. Invented by the pseudonymous Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin works on the blockchain system and runs without a third party, meaning there's no bank regulations whatsoever. The coin, which was initially worth less than $1, can now cost you around $12,000 each, and the lucky few who got in first are now living a lavish life and spending their time traveling the world, starting their own companies, and of course, investing in more Bitcoin. Take a look at some of them below. Charlie Shrem. Shrem first learned about Bitcoin in 2011 while studying at Brooklyn College. Initially, he purchased 500 coins priced at $3 each and then kept investing more as the price rose. While still in college, Shrem founded the Bitcoin exchange startup BitInstant, a company that allows fellow Bitcoin investors to directly use the cryptocurrency to shop from over 700,000 stores, including Walmart, Duane Reade, and Boots. But not all ended well for the 26-year-old, though, as Charlie Shrem was later charged with operating an unlicensed money transmitting business. He pleaded guilty and went on to serve prison time. However, his faith in the blockchain system only strengthened after a jail incident with a prison guard and mackerels, the currency of choice behind bars. As of now, Shrem's net worth is around $45 million. Grant Sabatier. Sabatier first invested $5,000, a tiny share of his savings, into Bitcoin, at that time valued at $72. After watching a documentary and reading forums about cryptocurrency, he bought a total of 69.2 Bitcoins, which are now valued at around $1,148,728. The mogul even earned $1 million in 2017 alone, making it what he calls the easiest money I've ever made. Sabatier now runs a blog called MillennialMoney.com, where he talks about personal finance and entrepreneurship, helping others make smart investment decisions in crypto and various other sectors. Prior to this, he also ran various side hustles such as a domain buying, SEO consultancy, and blogging, the last of which alone brings him $2,000 a month. Eric Finman. Perhaps the most famous Bitcoin millionaire on YouTube, 18-year-old Eric Finman forged his own path when he invested in Bitcoin and left high school to start his own business. He began investing in Bitcoin in 2011 at the age of 12, back when they were worth just $12 apiece. His money primarily came from a $1,000 gift from his grandmother, and soon he accumulated around 403 Bitcoins, worth more than $1 million today. And this is not even including the smaller investments he made in other cryptos, such as Ethereum and Litecoin. His motivation was a bet that he had with his parents, stating that if he became a millionaire before the age of 18, they'd allow him to keep out of college. Needless to say, he won. In 2014, he launched an online education platform called Bowtangle that helps frustrated students such as himself find tutors. And he's also currently working with NASA to launch a rocket through their Elana project. Finman recently got featured on BuzzFeed, where his video, "I'm a Teenage Bitcoin Millionaire," has 3 million views and counting. Solve your specific predictive analytics needs. Model management. Deploy and embed thousands of predictive models directly into business processes. Scale and maintain peak performance for every model and schedule updates as needed. Manage the entire predictive modeling lifecycle, from data prep to model building, evaluation, deployment, and modeling. Manage the entire predictive modeling lifecycle, from data prep to model building, evaluation, deployment, and monitoring. Predictive modeling. Build predictive models in days with automation and configuration features, no coding required. Gain easy access to a wide variety of machine learning algorithms. Take advantage of native predictive modeling with big data. Predictive data management. Accelerate data preparation and join historical data sets such as demographics, transactions, and service calls. Create and manage massive analytical data sets with up to 50,000 columns. Increase your ability to derive more accurate and predictable results. Predictive network and link analysis. Represent data and graphs to show product or entity associations. Extract and explore links between your customers and social influencers. Generate product recommendations based on social network analysis. Use georeferenced data to build models and visualize the most visited geographic locations. Scoring. Score data faster and apply predictive models and databases as soon as events occur. Generate code for a variety of target databases. Embed accurate predictive results into business processes. Predictive analytics. Go beyond charts. Data science at your fingertips. Without writing any code, users can point and click to get instant link views, one-click predictions, and proactive data profiles. All users have access to the same advanced calculations that your experts have, so everyone can be more efficient and eventually more skilled and smarter. In a way, Spotfire lets you break data science out of its box and spread it around. Embed R code in analysis. Because Spotfire has a natively embedded R engine, it can run the world's most popular open-source statistical language directly inside any analysis. It provides point-and-click authoring for users of all levels and offers more advanced users the ability to run custom R models in the analysis. Let your data scientists empower the organization. Spotfire includes the right tools for making it easier for experts to solve a problem, then publish their solution as analytical apps that can be reused by everyone. Instead of wasting time by keeping the value of your data science investments to a small corner of your company, you can maximize that value and make both experts and non-experts more efficient. And you can empower the same people who understand the problem to work the solution. Leverage your existing platforms. Connect to existing data functions written in R, SAS, and MATLAB. Helped by the unique and powerful Spotfire Statistics Services engine, users at large can then benefit from your stored assets, and you won't have a stranded investment. Predict the future. Your big data is only as good as your ability to use it to predict, create a plan, and act on it. What product should you recommend for purchase right now? Is fraud being attempted? Which machine needs maintenance to avoid a stoppage? What improvements can you make to extend product life? Who's in danger of going into cardiac arrest? Spotfire gives you fast answers. Capabilities. One-click statistics. Contextual calculations make powerful methods easy to use. Descriptive stats, similarity, clustering, correlations, fitting, and forecast. Analytics applications. You can save real analysis, not just dashboards, for use by all. In Spotfire, creating apps is a built-in feature. For other products, it's out of reach. Conclusion. If you want to be a Bitcoin millionaire, you need to hijack someone else's hardware and get mining for an extended period of time and cash out before you get penalized or arrested. Failing that, you need to either day trade Bitcoins and take advantage of the short-term price volatility, or make an extremely risky long or short bet on the long-term success or demise of the Bitcoin. By shorting, you might be able to make money on the downside in the short term too, if the so-called Bitcoin bubble is about to burst. On the other hand, if you are sane, it's probably wise to just sit back and watch the chaos unfold. Thanks for buying my book. If you have a minute, please leave a review. I take reviews seriously and always look at them. This way, you are helping me provide you better content that you will love in the future. A review doesn't have to be long, just 1 or 2 sentences and a number of stars you find appropriate. Hopefully 5, of course. Also, if I think your review is useful, I will mark it as helpful. This will help you become more known on Amazon as a decent reviewer and will ensure that more authors will contact you with free ebooks in the future. This is how we can help each other. If you like my book, please leave a review on Amazon. I would appreciate it a lot. Thanks. Take a look at these other books too. Blockchain Technology, Blockchain Programming, Blockchain Science and Career Guide, Blockchain Ethereum. This has been Bitcoin Millionaire, Cryptocurrency Investing Strategies from the Rich. Written by Giles Reeves, narrated by Jim Rising, copyright 2018 by Vincent Newt. Production copyright 2018 by Vincent Newt.